Hello and welcome back to another class of Android programming. Today we are going to continue from how we stopped at in the previous videos, and remember we stopped from the ReclerView. We had finished just creating the ReclerView, and the ReclerView had no anything like any action. It was just displaying elements. But remember, when you create a list like that one, you may need to perform some different things. Like if I click on a certain item, I should be able to know that I have clicked on a particular item. And this is not going to be as simple as it was when you created the other layouts or other elements in our Android projects. In previous Android projects, we just simply say find view by ID, and then later set a what? A click listener. But here there are so many elements that are created in a single object. So you have to uniquely identify that a user has clicked on a particular element. Let me first fix this Android phone. I see this thing is not running. Let me first find out what could be the problem, and then I resume the video. Okay, so I fixed the Android phone issue. So this is our emulator. Now the thing. What's going on? Did I hold on a key? The computer is okay, but it's like I hold on a key. Waste our time. What is the problem? We were setting the emulator. It was having some issues, so you can see if I click on an element, we cannot know that there is a click listener that has been created or has been made. So we are going to see how we can add a click listener on the ReclerView. So like what I told you, you can as well search how to add a click listener on a ReclerView on Google, but and then most examples that you'll find on search engine, they will already have for ReclerView. They already have the what? Those have even click listener. So you can, for example, say add click listener in on ReclerView item. So you find a lot of examples. For example, this guy will teach you how to do it with a list. It has Stack Overflow. That it should be your friend when you start with programming with Android. See, all these videos, they'll show you. What I'm trying to do is not that I don't know the path I've not prepared, but I want to show you how you can find out solutions by yourself. When you want to do something, you can simply teach yourself using what? Using search engine. That's what I'm trying to show you. So for example, I can open here Stack Overflow. On Stack Overflow, you always find the correct answer if that topic is popular and so many people are talking about it. So let me show you how we add click listener. For example, you see the answer which is correct, they will put here a green tick, and then also others will give other suggestions. As you can see here, they're giving other suggestions. This one is giving his suggestion, and this one's also giving his different suggestion. But the most popular answer, most of time, it will always be made with a green tick. That's what the answer that majority have chose, that it is correct and it is performing a good practice. So Stack Overflow should be your friend. You cannot manage to make it in Android programming if the Stack Overflow is not your friend, because here they solve everything. Majority of questions, you'll find them here already solved. So let us see how it is done. And if I have radically whatever changed on the click listener, the item. So for each item, isn't much that has that's just a story. But the point is that you have to first create a what you call an interface in the in the adapter itself. So we'll set a click listener on each single layout in adapter itself. Then once you create that click listener, then you'll implement the method in the what in the main in the main activity, or in the activity that implements what, that's ReclerView. So that's how we do it. That's how we create a click listener for a single item. So without wasting much time, let us see how we're going to create this. So we'll go to our adapter. Is here, users adapter, and you remember the previous class we create this adapter together. So first of all, you have to create the click listener object. How do you create it? Just simply say private final. So to make it final, it will make it not to fluctuate every time that you create a click listener. If you don't make it final, sometimes you'll find that it is bringing the wrong the wrong elements. Most especially when you change the ReclerView size, it may end up bringing a wrong element of. But if you make it final, then it will not change a single click listener what is assigned to a certain item. So you say private final on click listener. You see here it is being created as as an object, and then give this click listener and we initialize it on my click listener. Okay, so this my click listener is going to be kind of a a method for you. You're going to create a method that is going to override click listener. So let us do this. So I'll open that. Okay, I'll just simply come here. So I'm going to create here the object in the adapter, and I'm going to paste it there. It's just straightforward. It is private on click listener. Private final. It's an object of what? Of on click listener. Then you have to import the on click listener here, the first one, and then you give it a name. For example, this one, give it m.what.click listener. This is just an object of click listener. Then here you do what is equal to what is equal to new on my click listener. So this is going to be kind of your own class, my click listener, and we'll give it we'll give it that kind of a name. So he'll tell you that my click listener should the on click listener fragment view, because my click listener the reference of what click listener here. So you can see here it's going to be kind of my click listener is got new. Let's see how you define this method. I do it. It's going to be a class within my click listener. Then is how to say, and creating the view holder, and then he calls if this click listener is matching with the one. This one in the view holder. We're going to come back here in the view holder. What does he do? In the view holder, he set a layout and check. So this is my click listener and click method, override final, and then you check the edit position. Then you can implement whether it is long. Okay, then okay. So first of all, you have to come here in the view holder. Remember here the view holder is where we combine the elements. When we combine the elements here on create here view holder. So here it's where we'll find. So I'll set the set the click listener. So here on the create, say view, and then we set a click listener on that view. So for him, what he did, he set a click listener on this one, on this view at this point. So you see, after we finish setting the view, so he said other people, they always come here and say this click listener from this point. Like they'll find, I'll show another way, like we'll find a layout, you create a parent layout to this item, then you set the click listener to be on a single item. In fact, this one, what he did, he set the click listener to be on the whole item. Like when you click on any place in this item, it will trigger, because you see, he did not find a specific part of the item. But sometimes you'll need to, maybe someone to need to listen when someone clicks on what, on email of a particular user, and maybe you want to take an action on that email only. So for this one, he did not do that. He just set the click listener on what, on the whole view, like you can see here. After we finish creating the view on the create here, so he set a what, a click listener. See, that set on click listener. So after he set click listener, then he pass the element that he created here, the click listener that he created here. So when someone will click, when someone will click on this element will be called, the method of on click listener to be called, and it will be given this occurrence of the object that we created here. This is going to be some kind of temporary class that we'll create, and that class will be what will be created. The constructor will be called when we click on that class. So that is what he did here. Then after he had to override what, they had to override the on click listener. Okay, so the method of on click listener, I have to override it here. In fact, it did a worst practice. It's not a best practice. I don't know why it is marked as the best answer. So when I never use this way also. So he override it on click listener, extract the method of the interface. Where did you override it from? The method on click listener, he override final view, and then you put the position, ReclerView. How this answer marked as the best? It is having only 400. It is having only 400 goods, and here this one's having what, 600. It is marked as the best. It is not really the best, according to me. I never used it. You have already done click listener, and then you put your emblem to ReclerView. This is the worst way. I'll not use this one. I never use this even. Let's use the other way. Only this one, which is most popular. I don't know why they mark this one as the best. You know, the one who said the question is the one sometimes activate. They say this is the one that is best for me. So if the one who created the question is biased, he can choose the answer for his friend and make it that it is the best, yet it is not really the best. So here is the another way. See, here is the better and less tightly coupled way of implementing the click listener, and you see the most popular. So first of all, I clicked on something. Yeah, it was having this next part too. Let's follow the other simpler way. Where is it? Okay, so you have a ReclerView here. We'll find the ReclerView. Then here we'll implement these things. But this is the right way. This is how we do it. But before you implement, in fact, this one also wrote in the wrong way. You first write these things. You first write this code. You first write what you're going to implement. Then you set the implementation. So if you're learning, if you're teaching yourself, you'll begin with this one and you'll find it hectic. But the right way, you have to first create what you're going to implement, then you implement them later. So you better begin with this part, okay? So this is the ReclerView, implement ReclerView. This was using another way. Okay, but it's also okay. This will work for us. So he created a separate class. Hey, these people are making things so hard. He created a separate class, but this is it. It's another way. see, this is the most popular that what always do. You put here public folder, and then you override on click listener, and then set the interface. You put interface, yeah, this is the one that always use. Anyway, this is another way. This is another way. These are all answers. It's another interface. Then okay, so let's first use this, and then we'll come to the other one. So here, this is the view what the view holder. We already know why we have the view holder, and then here you have you set the on click listener when you're doing what, when you inside the view holder itself, like set a on click listener on a single item. You see, you're having here an item, and they set a click listener to it. So here inside the view holder, here we'll practice, if time is allowed, we'll practice all of them. So here inside the view holder, you can select a particular element. That's what I was trying to say. This method that the others are trying to show, they want to put the element in the whole layout. But here I want to select a specific element. For example, let us begin by selecting the whole element. Then I'll later show you that if you want to listen to maybe the email, or to the country, or any element inside here. So here you have to create. Let me first create here an ID and give it maybe ID. Okay, ID. I give it maybe parent layout. Okay, so this parent layout, I have it there, and then I have to come and do what, and parent layout, I have it there. Did I just delete? Where's the ID? When I say code reformat, it disappeared. ID parent underscore layout. Okay, so I have the parent layout there. It is a what? It's a card view. So I have to come here and create a what? Inside the view holder, I have to create a what? An object of card view. Card view. Okay, so this card view, I'm going to link it with what? With this parent layout. Parent layout, and then this one will be find view by ID here, and I do what? I link it with parent layout. So in this point is where I'm going to check the what? I'm going to set down the what? The click listener. You see here inside his view holder, it's where he now set the what? The click listener. Okay, so the set click listener, and he's setting it from this point. See, and he'll pass the what? He'll pass the context. So view holder here, and public view holder, and then you simply after initializing it, you can now say dot set on click listener. Set on click listener. Then you pass just the what? The context. This cast make implement and no. So did it do this? So the set on click listener view dot item dot set on click listener. So that's how he did it, and then he passed this as a what? As the object click listener. He passed this. Okay, I count that. Then after, you have to override the on click listener. He's doing it from hey, Stack Overflow, they're just confusing us. He's doing it from the on click listener static that we holder that extends ReclerView. Then you put the view holder past this, and then you override the what? The on click, and then click that get adaptive position. Oh, never had these solutions. Just follow these others. Look for the interface. interface. So to do, you have to create the interface. These are like suggestions. Okay, the interface. So this is going to be a public interface here. This video is going to be a mess. Public interface. So this public interface, it will be implemented it will be implemented outside this class. You see. So if you create public interface, an interface, it will be called when an action is made inside this class. So I'm going to create here an interface. So if you create here an interface, this method, it will be called automatically when an action, a specific action is made within this class. So if I click here inside and you implement this interface from another class side, from another object of this class, this interface will be what will be called. So I'm going to put here public interface, and I'm going to call it anything. Okay. So I can just simply copy this and then put this public interface here like this. So here I see public interface on click listener. So public interface on click listener, and then here I call void on item click, and then I pass a single item of my object. For example, this is the object that I pass. Okay. Yeah. User model is a model. So I'll be passing a kind of object that is that I work with. Okay. So when someone clicks, when I implement this click listener, then I'll give him the element that we have just clicked on at the moment. So this is it should be public, so that it should be done what? It should be implemented inside another method. Then after doing that, now have to create a what? Constructor that will receive the lambda method. So this is the constructor that will be implemented when someone clicked on what? On that public interface. When someone clicks on the element. I can copy this code and I'm going to explain it. So I'll come here. This is the constructor. Inside the constructor, we are implementing the ReclerView adapter. We've already done this. I've already done this when you're implementing the adapter. So it's a class.content adapter. This Java though. Then after we override the on bind. We add this element, the click listener, inside the click listener here. We add this line inside the click listener. See, if you hold that. So here we will also set it to a certain element after we finish this one. So inside the on bind, you can simply come here. On bind, we already have it. On bind. Then we add this element. We just view item dot set on click listener and here. Holder dot set on dot item dot a single item that you are clicking on. Maybe you can say like there you said you can have a parent here. Did I delete it? I deleted it. Okay, let me first set on just a single item, maybe a name. Then I will come and show you how I can do it to another thing. So we set this click listener to be attached to a specific element. So if you hold that dot item user item name dot what dot set on one, no set on test dot set on click listener. Okay, so in this on click listener, instead of implementing it, we just pass the item that we're going to implement at this moment, or the item here that is being provided. So we do what? We just remove this and add this one here. Okay, let's say it on click listener. Right. I have to override it. That set on click listener, and here I pass what? I pass my listener, which is here. The listener that I created. I should be having this one here. I did not have to put here the listener that I created before, which is listener, and this one should have been created before. Which method are they using? Just can follow my own code. So the listener here should be a method that I should have created before. I have to check if it is really the one. View.holder.myListener, and then you give it the item. So this is going to be the ReclerView, the holder, the ReclerView holder. That's what. The ReclerView holder. Just challenging today. Why? Dot ReclerView holder. Let me just use the one that I always use every day, and I'll see how I can relate it. I have here my examples that I created before. These people are showing different examples. I have my example that I created before here, and I was practicing. Never memorize this code of click listener. Then here on bind holder, what did you do? And then he passed the element, the method that he's wanting. He's using different method that are specific to this example. So I have here my example that I'd created before. Let me just use those ones. Then I'll explain step by step from these. Still loading. These examples I never saw them before. This has not ReclerView. This has not ReclerView, something else. It's just a short video for how to implement ReclerView. I have here my examples. They're still loading. Fragments. Takes some time to load. It's an unreal okay. So here are my examples. Just explain from those ones and read. Let's finish. Java, ReclerView. So you have to come here, activities, activity, then you have the the list and the list, and then you have example can have here this one, then have your ReclerViews, and then you have here the adapter, and then I can show you now and click. Even not wasted our time, we just come straight here to this previous example that I prepared. So what we do, we just create here a public click listener. As you can see here, we're having we just like the way we did the previous class, the previous video that we showed, the previous example we showed. We just create a public click listener, and it's going to be just an interface. That's the interface way is the better way that you can use. We just remove these others that I should explain step by step. So once you have a plain, just click. You have a plain ReclerView. That's how we did it. So you come here to private and click listener. So you create just an object of on click listener, and this click listener, it will be your interface. So an interface is not a complete class, but it is just an implementation of when someone do that, when someone calls that element, it will implement whatever thing that is within that element. So you see, I just create here an object. So I just create here an interface and call it on what? On click listener. So I'll begin by creating this interface. Just going to be public interface. Remember, when you're creating an interface, you don't put there, it's kind of a method, but you don't put here the brackets. So you see, public interface, and you don't put there a bracket because it is not going to be implemented. If you put a bracket, then it will have become a what? A method. But this one is different from a method. It will be called automatically when someone when someone does a certain action. It is just like a listener that if someone does anything, it will be executed on it. So here I'm going to pass 3 things. I'll give it the view. I can as well pass only one item, but in this example, I want when I click on something, I give someone full details. I'm going to give this person, or I'm going to give someone who will implement this listener. I'll give him the view or an element that someone has particularly clicked on. After providing that view, I'll provide also the object of what has been clicked on, and I'll also help him and provide the position of where the user has clicked on, so that he can use this view to maybe implement a method. Sometime when you remember when you implemented the pop-up menu, what did we need? We needed a view, and this view, it helped us to know where the user has clicked on, so that you should attach there a menu. So if you don't provide this view, then you will find a problem when you want to do a menu like that one. But these are optional. You see, they are optional. You can pass anyone that you want. See, this is just a method that will be implemented. This one I can change it to anything on my click listener. So it can be anything, but it is a method that it will be implemented later when someone listens to this on a click listener. Okay, so I'm going to override the click listener. So when someone implements this on a click listener, this method will be implemented, and I'll provide these things. I can define anything that I want. I can decide to give him nothing. This is my own method. You see, I can decide to give him nothing. I can decide to give him a single object of what I'm doing, or I can decide to give him the whole full list. I can give him the view where the particular person has clicked on. I give him the object that the user has clicked on, and I give him the position of his data of this particular element that he has clicked on. And this is the best way. Okay, so after writing that one, after writing this after writing this interface, what else? I now have to I can now create the object of this interface. Okay, so to create the object of this interface, I can just simply come here on top here and do what, and implement it here. See, private dot private. Then you see this interface that I just created here is one that I created its existence. So why am I doing this? Because I want to override the Android click listener. I want to replace it with my own click listener, which will have my own rules. So I create this object is the object of this one. So right now I've not touched anything for Android. I've created my own interface, and I've created my own object of that interface. So after doing those two, now we have to override to override the Android click listener. So how do you do that? I'm going to create now my own click listener here. So it's going to be, so let me put these steps that someone should be able to see the step. So this is step one. Setting interface. This step can help you to know what to begin with and that follows. So setting the interface. I have step 2. Step 2, create object of interface. So step 3 now. Step 3, I come down here, I do what? I create a public method. Step 3, create create a method to override but replace what? Click listener, the default click listener, because you want to set your own rules here. So you see, I create this first, I create this next, and then later I say set on click listener. So you see, when someone will be implementing this object, it should be public, so he will be using this one, set on click listener. Okay, then I say final dot on item click listener, which item click listener is the one that I created here, the interface here, and then I create this object, and then I touch this dot on my click listener. See what I'm doing here? I'm saying this. When I say this, I mean the object itself. And when I say .m click listener, remember we have already created it here. Okay, and this is the occurrence of this one. So it means that this will call this interface, because this one is it will create object of this one, and then I give it what? The click listener itself that have been created here. So this one will replace this, the object of this one. When someone implements this one, it will replace it with this, and then it will call this one. So it means that when this one is implemented, it will automatically call the interface of this one, and then this interface will know what it will provide: the view where the user clicked, and the model, and the position. So what we will do for us, we will have to set this click listener inside the main activity. Inside the main activity, so that we should be able to do what? We should be able to implement, to know where the user has done what? Has clicked. So after doing that, this is adapter item, we already know it. Now we have to link this listener, like I have to now set it on a specific particular item. So this is just adapter list. This is just creating the list of items. This is a constructor, you know it. On bind view, then here I'm just binding. Here we don't do anything. You see, we don't do anything. I'll explain something here later, but here we don't do anything, but I will leave it, and then I'll explain it once you've seen that you should understand properly. Then here on ReclerView, now this is where we're doing what? We're setting the layout itself. I don't know anything. Now when where you set the click listener, we set it inside the what? On bind. Remember when we were setting the item name, the what, we are feeding this information. Now in the same place, it is where now we do what? We set the on click listener. Like when someone clicks on this, then instead of creating the Android click listener, for us we call our own click listener and provide it the view, the position, the model, the item that the user has clicked on, and the what? And the position. We can provide anything. You can provide anything here. You can pass to it anything. But the best way, you have to provide these ones so that the user should have enough things. So you see, okay, I'm going to just come here on what? On bind. I come here on bind. Okay, here on bind. This video I'll have to edit. I'll have to cut the other first 20 minutes that we wasted, but it's also part of the journey. Okay, so for example, let me say I'll edit and remove that. So I'm going to, for example, do this. So I'm going to put this listener on a what? On a name. So this is going to be step what? Step 4. Step 4. Add listener on layout. Okay, so see, view holder, the holder, let's set it dot then not set on click listener, like the way we did here. The set on click listener. The set on click listener. So it will be like the normal click listener dot new on click listener, like the way we always set click listener. But this click listener will stop here. Now I say for you, you've done your part. You've done your part. So it means that if someone clicks on a name, this method will be called, normally. But this method is only limited to this element. Now, but what if you want to do other things outside this? Then you cannot do that. But the only way to communicate to another thing to another object that is implementing this one is through using what? Through using interfaces. So here I'm going to check if my interface is not null, this object, if this interface, here it's when we initialize it. Here, you remember we initialize it when we said, when the item is being created. So I'm going to first check if it is not null. See, because if it is null, then you can set false ones. So check if if the on click listener that I've created is not what? Is not null. Then I'll have to know that it's already created. Then I'll have to implement it now. Okay, so I'll have just say dot on click listener. See, I'm implementing this one. So whoever who is implementing this one, then I'm providing him. Where is it? This guy. You see, on click, let's set on click, and then and this one it implements what? That's the meaning of interface. So here you can put anything that you want to communicate to the other side. So anyone who implements this method, and anyone who uses this method, any class that uses this method, and he wants to get this information on this action or what happens, he just simply implement this one, and we'll provide to him these. That's what I mean by interface. So here I just say, if this guy is not null, then I'm going to provide things, because here already they have given them to me. I have the view that the user has clicked on, which is here. The view, which is the view itself, this one. It is coming here through the recycler, through the click listener. Because when you click on something, the click listener of Android, it will give you that view, the object of a view that you have clicked on. Okay? So if you want to attach anything, you can attach it from there. So I'll pass the view, like the way I promised here, that will provide the what? The view. The view here. What else? I promise that I'll provide the object of the current model. And remember, this thing has been provided. You can get it from this using this position, because we'll have these items. Okay. So I'll just say the list that we are using here, which is the list of users. Users dot get, and then I pass the position. Then there I have provided the element. Then lastly, I said I provide what? The position. So if you do like this, then you'll have provided anyone who does this one. You give him everything. You give him the lake and the soil inside the lake. So he do whatever he wants with it. So after doing this, then you have set. But you see, I just set this click listener, and then I implement these things. And then here we're good now to go. We're good to go. So that's how I create it. So that's all. Now the remaining part is now to implement it. That is the fifth part. So come here to main activity. Now main activity. Now come to where? To where we said the adapter. Where did you say the adapter? At this point, right? So after initializing the adapter, then you can do what? Then you can set the click list, and I can even set it even later here. So it will be step what? Step 5. Maybe setting click listener. Okay. So adapter dot what? Dot, now you see, dot set on click listener. But remember, this is our interface that we created by ourselves. You can even call it anything that you want. Dot set my click listener, because in this adapter it did not have a click listener before. If I remove,
have object of that one in this class, right?
what
Object of that method.
the object of
This method. And
set on click listener. We already have the interface. You see, set interface. So I want to implement this one. So I can even call it anything. Let's set my item click listener. So here, if I do like this, then it means that also here it will change. That set my. Yeah. So this is how you implement this interface. So if I just say, I just say, for some set my set click listener, so it will be dot set click listener, the listener. Press enter. Then you just put new on, then press enter. Then they will do that. New on item click listener. You see, use adapter that item click listener, and this one is the one that we created here. You see, this one, new adapter dot item click listener, the one that implemented here. So it will be called here. I mean, sorry, let me explain here properly. Okay. First of all, this is this interface that we created, and this interface is just to communicate between two classes. That's the main point of here. And then I just simply say the one that you use, the same name that you use, the set on click listener, and then you pass, it is expecting the currency set click listener. It's expecting the currency on item click listener. So I can just simply put new on item click listener, like the way we did here. Just you see the implementation here being suggested. Click on it or press enter, it will be implemented. So, but now can you see what you promised is what is being provided here? And we are in what? In the main class. So here we can now know all the user has clicked using this view and this object. Yeah. So let me toast here. You know toast, right? Yeah. So see, toast. Let's what? Say you clicked on, and then I point at. Remember, I have everything. I can use this position to difference my data, but this data can change anytime, so we cannot rely on the position. So the best thing is to provide this object. Then dot what? Dot you see? Dot what? Maybe that name or that ID. So that's it. That's the best way. The other guys, they are taking us so far. There's so many ways of killing a rat. Another one can decide to give it poison. Another one can decide to give it to kill it by hands. So here we are. You see, you clicked on what? On Anas Muhammad. You see, clicked on the number. Now you see, the best thing that I was telling you about, like we can set this click listener to be on a specific element. So for example, if I click here, now if I click on the email, is it working? No. If I click here, the count, is it working? No. Why? Because we set it to be on a specific. But if you look at this guy in Stack Overflow, he wanted to set it on a whole layout, but we can as well do that. But here, he was setting it here on the bind, so you have no any other choice other than setting it on the whole layout, on the root layout. So that is hectic, because sometimes we may need to put here, for example, these 3 dots. The 3 dots, like for options, and put a drop a menu. Like if someone clicks here, you show him another thing. If he clicks here, you show him another thing. Because you can implement even multiple click listener. You can implement multiple click listener. Actually, that should be your homework. You should go and try. One listener for the name, another listener for the what? For the email. So that you will be able to do what? To do different things. Sometimes you have multiple click listener on a single item, I could put here the more details, and if someone clicks here, we show him again another thing. So by this power, you can do like that. So now if you want it now to put it on the what? On the whole layout. If you want to put on the whole layout, that's when now we'll come to the other thing that we are doing. Create this, put it in the what? In the parent layout. Then come and create what? The object for that, which is going to be card what? Card view, and then you do like this, card view equals that, and then you just simply say card view is got the parent layout. Okay, parent layout. And this parent layout, it is just a container that is containing everything. So if you're using card view, it's card view. If you're using linear layout, it will be linear layout. So after that, I will simply come to now to set click listener. Where is it? Here. I will set the click listener here. So instead of setting it on the name, I set on what? On the main layer. So there, I'm good to go now. It is set for what? For a single and specific layout. Run it. See now, like that. I hope you understood.
Yeah.
So that's it. Those are the steps. These guys are making us go crazy, but they're also giving their own views. They can also be implemented, but you can as well watch the video like this one. You'll understand still. Okay, so with that much said, let us proceed to something else. I don't know what time will allow. Let us put the what. I want us to be able to add something in this in this list. Add something in this list and then do what and update it. I want us to be able to do what, to add and update in this list. After adding and updating, we'll look at what at removing something. So to do that, I'm going to put here a simple form here that will be adding an item in this. Okay, so we need a what, a name and a counter and this. So let's go and create that form very fast. So here we are. So I'm going to go to the main layout. It's not necessary that we need a form, but this is just exemplary to practice for practicing purposes. So I'm going to put here what, a linear layout. So I have to plan first. I'll put maybe first name, last name, country, and email.
You can put
The ID will automatically assign it.
If you put the buttons like add, delete, edit, and delete.
Yes, yeah.
You will put the form there.
Yeah, that's also another way. But for me, I think the simpler way is put there a static form here on top here. I want to put the form here on top of this ReclerView. So I'll be filling it, and then after I click on add, then you should add that person in the in the list. That's what I want to do. So, and then you update the list. That's what I want to do. Yeah. So here how I want to put here a linear layout. It's going to have two things, and then another two things, and then the button of add. So here going to be linear layout, maybe match parent. Orientation going to be a little bit faster. Linear layout, match parent. Then height, wrap content, and then I'll open here, and then put here edit text, right? And then maybe I can put orientation horizontal. Okay, edit text, I can maybe width, match parent, and then I can give it height, wrap content, and then I can give it what, maybe hint. I can give it first name. So to save time, just put here some basic text to work as first name. So I can put John. Okay, so after put John, and then I'll have to close it. Let me give it weight. Weight is got 1. Okay, so then later I'll have to duplicate this one. Just simply duplicate this. We have now 2. And then this one I give it what? Last name, and then here I give it Doe. Okay, John Doe. Why is it not displaying? I don't know, but I know I'm on right track. Okay, but you can see you're on right track. Maybe they'll display in the output. So we have those 2. Now lastly we have to put also duplicate these guys, put for what? Country and email. So I'll simply come here and put maybe hint country, put maybe USA, and then maybe email. Can put here maybe do@gmail.com. Okay, so that's it. Now I have those 2. Then I have to put maybe action button for like adding. Add. Okay, so the ID, if you can leave it. So this one I can leave it just as a view. So this view, it will be just an empty space. Wait. Okay, I'll call view. View, it's just an empty space. Why is it spending 100%? Okay, just leave it as okay, maybe leave it. Let me remove it. Let me change this one to what? To button. That's going to be having text of what? Of add. It's going to be having of text already there. Text, okay. Text will add what? Add user? Add what? Add record. Yeah. Okay, the specific record, because I've already filled here. So like that. Let us run it and see if everything is okay. There's some minutes because lost. Okay, I think everything is okay. Yeah, you see everything is okay. It's looking a little bit what? I can give it. I can put also all of them. I can put them inside a what? Inside a layout again, or a card. Should I put a card? Nah, linear layout. Width, transparent, height, wrap content, orientation, vertical. I can now open this guy and come and close it here. Why do I put them inside? Because I want to set some rules at once. So I can put maybe margin of 10 dp, and then everything will be okay. So we're gonna have this. Okay, now if I want to feed here and read here, then when you feed, then you should be able to add a record there. So without wasting much time, now we have to do it to collect this record from what? From the form. So I have to link this form with a heart. So when you click here, you should be able to add that record in this list. Okay, now let us get this form. So to get this form, first of all, I will do what? I will assign. Very good. I'll give IDs. Very good. ID. I'll call this one maybe first underscore name, and then I'll come here, copy this ID, change this one to last underscore name. Okay, and then come here, copy this ID, change it to what? Change it to what is this? Country, and then lastly, I'll have change this to what? Email. So after I have to bind them, so I have to create a method of binding. I already have that method. That's why I say that you should have your code organized. Yeah, otherwise you will again find another place to bind these things from. So I have to create here what? It is the edit text, right? Objects of edit text. Okay, so object of edit text, we're having first name here. So I put here first name, and then I will say first name. I just simply duplicate this. First name is got this, as simple as that. Then I'll come and get last name here. I'll come here and get comma last name, duplicate this. Am I understood? Very good. So I'll come here, just you have to learn these shortcuts but they come with practice automatically. And then lastly but not the least, email, then here the button for submitting, so I can put here ID submit, and then this is a what? A button. We have to be very careful, don't do the mistake that we were doing yesterday. Very good button. See, it was even warning you already. Then here now, how to say that? Now I want you to put a listener now. Yeah, because I want to, when someone clicks here, then I should collect the data. So I want now to do what? Do set on what? On click listener. You understand? New on click listener. Okay. Then I can put here method now called collect from data or something like that, or submit data, or add data. Okay, or submit data. Submit data. Okay, submit data. So here I have to now create here a method outside here. This is a class. Understand? So inside this, I want now to start collecting data. So to collect data, I may create now the object of of the model. That's why I need it. So that all our objects should be of specific model. That's why I need models. So as you can say, user model is equal to new what? User model. So they'll ask me to make this one what? Make it final. It's better to make it final, so it should not be fluctuating every time you create a method. Like this. Okay, so I'll first begin by giving it ID. Have to provide these things. Let us put another another constructor that is empty, default constructor. You remember this thing? We studied them in form of history. Now you see when you need them. So we have already the constructor. I have this default one because I want to have ability at least to create it without even providing. Then we override it. Then it's no longer crying. You can study them as stories now. You always see them when you need them. So I'll give it what? .id. That's the first thing. ID can be, I can load the ID after verification. Okay, so I have to give it what? The name. Okay, so I'll get the name dot what? Dot first name dot first dot name. The name is equal to what? First name and what? And last name. So I have the first name, which is remember, it is a public view here. Okay, first name dot what? Dot get text, right? To what? To string, like this. So I can check first if this first name is not too short. So I can say if this dot what dot length, you understand, is less than maybe 3. There's no name which is less than 3 apart from Chinese name. I can say toast name what, name too short, name too short, like kind of verification, and then I return. I abort this process from here. Do not proceed. That's how the best way we check for stuff. So I can do that only for the name, first name. If you don't provide second name, I'll leave you. Okay. So if you don't provide second name, I'll leave you. But second name, I will also get it from
But we don't have the second name.
last name.
Will you write there?
Now what I'll just say last name is equal plus equal to. Remember, I have last name field, not get what? The get text. So here I'll leave it be optional. Okay? But if I want, I can again create maybe a string and get that name separately from a string. Or you can just simply check directly from here dot to string and like that. Put here dot to string. You understand?
So what
So
the to string will do?
it will convert it from to a right string. At first they're just characters, a list of characters. Now when you convert it to string, to change it now to a real string. So then that's done. Then I have to collect country very fast. Country, I can just simply come and copy this logic. You see, I can just simply come and copy this, come and put down here. So it will be what? It will be country. Just change here, and then come and change here, come and change here. See, just use it when you want to be faster. Country to shoot. Understand? So lastly, we have to do what? To get the email. I have to put here email. These techniques, they come when you take too much time practicing this one. Email, then email to shoot. Email to shoot. Then there I will finish collecting the form and validating. You will not proceed one of these steps if you don't fulfill these conditions. So once you finish validating, now the ID, now I can give the ID. ID will make it auto increment. Yeah. If I want, you can. It's up to you. So I can say that ID is equal to what? The users, the list of users. That what? Dot size. Dot size, right? Dot size plus what? Plus 1. Yes, something like that. Then after, I have to add this item to what? To the users. But before I add, let me make sure that everything is okay. I'll start test. I put here a toast and say time to add new user. I can give it even a name plus what user model. I called user model. I could say new user, something like that. Plus user dot what? Dot name. I give it a name. So let's run and see. That's editing take long. Did this phone freeze again? Did it send another phone? Most of the time, let's forget. So there we go. you can see here of just adding an element to what to this users list. I just users dot add, and then I put a what this new model that I've just added. But you see, I'm adding, but nothing is happening. But the reality is, the list is increasing. I'm adding a single element each time I click on enter, but nothing is happening. So if I want to update this list, the one in the UI, so I have to notify the what? To notify the adapter that there's something, the list of the data has done what? Has been updated. So to do that, I'll just simply say, remember this adapter is public, so I just say adapter that update, I mean, like this is how it goes, on change update, not update, dot notify data changed. Okay, so say notify data changed. It will let the adapter know that there's something that has changed, and then to do the logic of updating the what? The list. Yeah, so that is very important part. So you see, I add, can you see? Gender has been added. See, come here. Gender dot. Okay, so add, and you see, gender has been. So can add as many as you want. See, you add, now you can start even scrolling. See. So for today's class, I think we will stop from there. Now in the next class, we'll have to work on the removing and updating. But updating is almost the same logic here. Like if we click on this, and then we'll be able to update, to edit and update. Yeah, we'll do that, but it's almost the same logic. Only thing that you do is to manage to move through this list. Yeah. So in the next class is what we'll work on, inshallah. So make sure that you practice. If you can manage to even go ahead and practice those updating, removing from another teacher, it will be great. It will really be great. So for today, we'll stop from there, inshallah. And I hope we've done something. Oh, in the next class, I'll also have to show you how to use GitHub. For example, this project, I can just commit it on my GitHub, and then you can go even and get it from anywhere, in your room, in any place. You just get it, and you can follow along my source code. So I'll also show you how to use GitHub, so that you'll be submitting your projects on GitHub. You can use them in future, or I'll also be managing to monitor your progress through your through your repository. GitHub is really important for for developers. So in the next class, I'll show how you can use GitHub in Android programming. So I hope you learned something new. I'm going to edit this video and cut those first 20 minutes that we wasted trying to find a solution from the net. Okay, that's it for today, inshallah. Until the next class.